Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Down Payment Assistance Expo. Can everyone hear me clearly? You could click on the hand icon to raise your hand to let me know that you're hearing me clearly. Fantastic. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon and welcome again to the Down Payment Assistance Expo. We're pleased to have 3 presenters with us this afternoon. Every year, far too many homebuyers leave money on the table that could reduce their out-of-pocket cost of buying a home and even the overall amount borrowed. In particular, first-time buyers are uniquely positioned to qualify for down payment assistance programs and grants. I'm going to start our presentation in a moment. However, I would like to go over some housekeeping items. If you have any questions, there is a Q&A bubble that you can type your questions in, and we'll be monitoring that, as well as the chat if you're having any technical questions. And the presenters will have a Q&A if time allows at the end. If you require any translation, there is a button at the bottom where you can translate from English to Spanish. At this time, I will stop sharing my screen and start the presentation. Our panelists include Pedro Biascochea of Bank OZK, Tammy Southall from the city of Dallas, and also Megan Dixon. I will go ahead and ask the panelists to start.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pedro Biascochea. Just doing a quick introduction of myself. I'm a CRA loan originator with Bank OZK, which CRA stands for, which some of us may not know, is Community Reinvestment Act. So I'm given the charge to work with low moderate community and also in utilizing the specialized product that Bank OZK has to help specifically low moderate income buyers, and also to, and the purpose of this call and the purpose of this session is to talk more about other additional resources and how we can couple those resources with the specialized products that banks tend to offer. So that is the, my title. I've been in this for 18 years now. Been very exciting. So hopefully you get a little bit of information and also a little bit of inspiration. So looking forward to being, sharing this information that we know and that we've gained experience of over the past 18, or at least for me, for the past over 18 years. Next slide, please. So I'll get right into it. It's, what is down payment assistance? And this is a program, so I'll just read the bullet points here. It says the purpose of the down payment assistance is to reduce the amount of money home buyers need to save for a down payment. So some programs require that you put 3% down. Some programs may require a little bit more. And then other programs may completely finance the entire purchase price. But that does not mean that you're not going to come into the closing with no money at all. I mean, it just means that the purchase price will be financed 100% of it anyways, but then you're still responsible for closing costs and prepaids and all that good stuff that goes along with the loans, because the cost to do a loan isn't necessarily free. There are, some expenses that go along with it that are incurred that are passed on to the buyer. Now, what's nice about the down payment assistance is that it helps with not just only the closing costs, but it also could help with if you potentially need down payment assistance, if you need to put a down payment down, it could also help you with bridging the gap there as well too. And a lot of resources are out there that some of us may be aware of, some of us may not be aware of. But as you'll see in future slides in this presentation, you will see the different programs, or you hear about different programs that are out there. But I will let you know the importance of working with specialized loan officers or people who are experienced in these areas to help you navigate through those and be able to also share with you the resources that we're aware of that could potentially help you reduce your cost in purchasing a home. So did I lose my slide? All right, so I'll go to bullet point number 2. And again, it provides affordable homeownership opportunities to those that may have a pretty hard time trying to just gather up, $3,000, $5,000. Sometimes it warrants $10,000. As we all know, the prices in Dallas-Fort Worth, homes aren't necessarily cheap anymore. Not that they were really cheap before, but they're much less expensive than what they are today. So what that means that since the banks go based off a percentage of purchase price on what is required for a down payment, then that just means the higher the price, the more money you're going to need. So this down payment assistance, again, the ones that are out there, will help bridge that gap, because you may be credit ready, you may be job ready as well too, meaning that you make enough to pay for a certain amount a month for a home. But then there's also that third element that some people don't necessarily factor in or get sticker shocked on, and that's the money you need for closing, or the money you need for down payment, because depending on who you work with, it needs, they'll disclose that to you right up front, or sometimes when it is disclosed to you, you get a little too excited. We're excited that we at least got past the first stage, but not necessarily take into account the second and third stages. Well, I should say the second stage on that is that, now that I'm pre-qualified, what kind of investment do I need to make, and how much money should I have set aside, right? And then once those numbers are revealed, you may realize, okay, maybe I need to take a little bit of a step back, right? Or I need to go out and find some assistance to help me bridge that gap for the money that eventually I will need for closing or for down payment. And some of it, I'm going to tell you right now, is probably going to be a little bit of your own due diligence. Most municipalities, like you'll hear today from the city of Dallas, have down payment assistance programs that you could potentially qualify for. Or, internally, some banks will also have some down payment assistance that you may qualify for. On the third bullet point where it says, can it be a grant or a loan? And it could be either or. So this is the other part that you definitely need to ask a lot of questions around. Is the money that's being utilized for my down payments assistance, am I going to have to pay that back